Can you see that there, Caroline?
We can indeed. Perfect.
Okay. Thanks very much, Martin. I think you made a very key point there about aligned thinking in terms of planning policy. And we certainly have took inspiration here in Kerry from that newfound thinking, a new direction with the National Planning Framework, the focus on town core areas, the need to move to alternative sustainable modes of transport, and the consolidation and compaction of our town cores. So over the next few slides, I hope to sort of put a bit of meat in what Martin outlined at a local level and how we here in Kerry County Council are seeking to green and reimagine Killarney Town through the transformative fund that is now in place through the Urban Region Development Fund, the URDF. Just looking at Killarney at a glance, Killarney is a population of about 14,500. That's the 2016 census. We know from anecdotal evidence locally that we're at approximately 15,000, just over 15,000. But crucially for Killarney as an economy, over 3,100 people are directly employed in tourism. That's 44% of the town's population or the town's jobs are actually directly linked to tourism. So it has a huge dependency on tourism. And just in terms of population, there are 15,000 approximately permanent residents of Killarney. But during the summer months, the population of the town swells to approximately 35,000 people on a daily basis. That's a significant footfall. Just in terms of tourist numbers, in Killarney, we get about 1.1 million visitors annually. So, to our knowledge, it's the second largest tourism destination on the island after Dublin. But like other sectors of the global tourist economy, Killarney is no exception, and we've taken a significant hit recently in relation to the impact of COVID-19. And we estimate that approximately 58% of all businesses in Killarney are directly affected as a result of COVID-19 significantly. And that is approximately 18% higher than the state's average. So I suppose in looking at Killarney and looking to harness the transformative effects, opportunities that the URDF now gives local authorities, we looked at Killarney in terms of what its challenges are and what its opportunities it had to reposition the town to create an element of economic robustness and to transform the tourism product to be robust against any future shocks in terms of COVID-19. And really ensure that the tourism product in Killarney is sustainable into the long term. In terms of challenges, well, we know that the quality of public realm in Killarney is quite poor. There's a significant dominance of the car. There's a poor level of connectivity between the national park and the town. That's a huge asset that we really haven't capitalised upon in Killarney. And there's a high dependency on particularly international tourism, and there's a need to probably diversify the tourism product marginally in Killarney and maybe try and attract in more of our own people or people from within the European Union as opposed to focusing on the high spend international traveller. In terms of opportunities, well, it is a key town under the Regional Spatial and Economic Strategy, so it has been designated as a settlement of significant importance, together with Tralee and by extension Killarney, what we call the Kerry Hub and Knowledge Triangle. It has an excellent array of buildings and an excellent series of views and vistas. And that portfolio of built-in heritage assets gives it an excellent platform upon which to build on. And it's also a key town on the wide Atlantic Way, and it has that significant footfall of 1.1 million visitors annually. So we sought through the URDF to adapt the town, make it robust to changing economic circumstances. We also sought to develop an alternative nighttime evening economy. If you come to Killarney during the summer months, there's a significant nighttime economy centred around entertainment and licensed premises, etc. We sought to diversify that and give families and people an alternative nighttime economy, particularly in the evenings and a wet day type of an economy. And we really focus on the need to sort of create places in order to achieve it. In terms of outcomes, what we sought to achieve was a world-class tourism destination, a town integrated with the park, a move towards sustainable modes of transport, particularly cycling and walking, a new visitor experience accessible to all, and an improved sense of place and enhanced livability, particularly for the Indigenous residents. I'll just focus on the 5 themes, and I start with the latter 2 here as I move to the presentation. In terms of animating authentic Killarney and the creation of new community culture, creative and commercial hubs, we have an impressive portfolio of existing built and natural heritage assets, including the cathedral, the Franciscan Friary, the Methodist Church, and a wealth of protected structures, primarily hugging the streetscape in the town centre. And we also have, fortunately, for a town of its size, a significant low level of streetscape vacancy. We also, crucially, as a local authority, have the RS Porrick site in our ownership, and this was a former community hall and a car park. And we've encompassed our own land asset immediately next door to this site, the Lewis Road car park, and we intend to prepare a master plan for this site to provide a theatre and an art space. We are in discussions with the HSE in relation to a primary care facility. We also aim to provide office, community spaces, an element of parking and a public plaza. I just want to highlight the key role of the primary care centre. We have a number of general practitioners in Killarney dotted throughout the town, and we've managed to successfully resist the migration of those premises collectively to an out-of-town or edge-of-town location. And our aim will be to try and accommodate them in this site in the town centre, where you'll have approximately 30 to 40 medical professionals in the town and a significant footfall heading to that location on a daily basis with the associated secondary spin-offs that will result into the adjacent streets. This will give you an early vision, an artist's impression of the site. And key to the site is the creation of that public plaza, that public realm, that public square. Killarney doesn't have a kind of a public square at the minute. It has a number of small areas at junctions and streets. The Glebe car park has traditionally held a number of functions and events, but Killarney doesn't have an area or a focal point as a public square, and we aim to achieve that on the RS Porrick site. We also aim to establish a craft quarter just off the High Street, Main Street area in Killarney. There are approximately 1.1 million visitors annually. That's a huge footfall walking around Killarney during the day and in the evening. And we also have a significant Indigenous craft sector, particularly out in the peninsulas. And we feel if we can get both of those entities together, we can really create something special here, right in the town core, along those narrow lanes, and in that general area. And we would envisage that this area will provide workspaces for artists, ceramic, woodworkers, glassworkers, etc. They are already in the county and not too far from Killarney. We've had preliminary discussions, and we feel that Killarney is ideally placed to harness that potential. The aim here is to encourage people, put another attraction into the town centre, an alternative attraction to the town centre, to entice people to stay longer, an alternative offering, and again, an alternative nighttime evening economy, a wet day sort of offering, so to speak, because when the weather is inclement here in Killarney, people are walking around, and they really the only options to them really are the cinema, the retail sphere, or licensed premises. So we want to give something else to attract people into the town core area. And we do know from discussions with Fort Ireland that cultural and heritage visitors to a particular location have an interest in the place. They've done a bit of research. They tend to stay longer and they tend to spend that little bit more. The Annan Cultural Centre was extensively refurbished in 2019 with support from the Department of Culture, Heritage and the Gaeltacht. This is a 67-seat indoor performance area. It can be repositioned to provide 131 seated outdoor performance area and an area of public realm and a plaza. I'll just give you a visuals there. In the top left-hand corner, you can see the old building. It was closed, it was behind a wall. We've refurbished the building, took out the wall, removed car parking, and we've given a small area of public realm and a plaza in Killarney. Now, unfortunately, it hasn't seen extensive usage due to COVID-19, but we hope that area will become a focal point. It's right next to the cinema, so we have, in essence, created a small area of place here, and again, that alternative evening time economy.
Sorry, Damien, just yes. 2 minutes left.
Okay, I have to move quick. Killarney National Park is the jewel in the crown of Killarney. It functions as Killarney's national park, but it really is hidden behind a wall and vehicular traffic, and we aim to bring that into the park. Just moving on to the other three teams and how we propose to pull this together. We hope to improve connectivity through the town by utilising those existing laneways and those access points. In essence, to pull the park into the town. The Mission Road acts as a major barrier. It's dominated by vehicular traffic, and we hope to deal with that accessibility issue and transition the town to a low carbon sustainable mode of transport, in essence to reduce the primacy of the car. In terms of discouraging the car, we hope to construct the Boreen-Nagowan link road and that ASC route on the right hand side, which is a long-term strategy. But the Boreen-Nagowan link road is key, and we have received funding under the URDF for that road. And that aims really to reposition some of the car parking in the town to the necklace of 7 peripheral car parks. If there's one thing that you would like to do as a planner, it is to remove those old right town centre orientated car parks, because we have found that 30% of the vehicular traffic in Killarney is circulating around the town centre, simply looking for a car parking space. They come into the town, they go into the Glebe car park, they can't find a space, and then all of a sudden they're actually part of the problem. The second problematic car park we have is the car park at the rear of the courthouse, and our strategy here is to try and encourage the use of those seven peripheral car parking spaces, transition people to a kind of a park and ride sort of mode of thinking. We did a bit of analysis and we found that over 87% of the town's population, over 12,600 people, were actually within a 10-minute cycle of the town. And if you just look here at the map on the right hand side, the blue areas, the blue routes are the existing cycle networks that are in the town. They're not interlinked at present. Some of them start and end without any clear destination. We have received Part 8 planning approval from our elected members under Section 179 of the Act to construct new cycleways there, and they're outlined in red. And that'll form phase 1 of our cycling strategy. And phase 2 will be the extension of that network. They're outlined there in green into those residential areas. There are 7 schools in the town. 5 of them are on the western section of the town, and there are over 3,200 students, generating 1,400 vehicular trips morning and evening. And we believe this is a huge opportunity to reorientate the town towards sustainable modes of transport. And that'll also have a secondary benefit for the tourism sector, as it'll link the Muckross Road end of the town, in which a lot of our hotels are located, with the town core. Just to give you a visual on that, these are proper cycleways, segregated. This isn't a case of just putting a line along the public road network. The primacy of the vehicular carriages will be reduced, and we'll have segregated cycleways throughout most of the town. This then will open up opportunities for public realm improvements. I'm conscious of time, Caroline, apologies. We hope to maximise the linkages that exist within those laneways. We hope to improve the town centre visual experience by removing car parking spaces, creating areas of public realm, particularly along the junction of Plunkett Street, Main Street and High Street, and a College Square, thereby further linking those 4 sites by sustainable modes of transport. We aim to bring the National Park into the town with particular investment in Kenmare Place and at the Beach Road car park. Just 2 visuals there in terms of the before. On the left hand side, you can see this is actually High Street, New Street. 80% of the physical footprint of the street is devoted to the car in terms of on-street parking and vehicular movements. On the right hand side there, you can see the junction of High Street and New Street. And you can see there that we aim to provide an area, a shared space area, remove the car parking, in essence, give the area back to the resident citizen of the town, and also the visitors that frequent Killarney during the tourism season. The lower picture there is the College Square area. Again, you can see it's a car park dominated by cars and a taxi rank. And again, we remove the cars, we create that public plaza, we create that sense of place. And again, that will also assist us in the creation of that alternative evening time economy. Just in terms of the 2 areas, and I'm nearly finished, Caroline, Kenmare Place here. Kenmare Place, known locally as the Ha-Ha, really is the gateway into the park. But again, the Mission Road acts as a major vehicular barrier to get into the National Park. And about 60% of the footprint of Kenmare Place is actually devoted to the car. We aim to reposition that whole area, remove traffic from the northern side, create a seamless bridge into Killarney House and the National Park. And the Beach Road link, at present, we've a major junction here in a car park. We aim to move that vehicular junction further to the east, narrow it down, create pockets of public realm in the areas that will be left over as that road meanders at 2 locations, and reposition that existing vehicular road into a pedestrian cycle only route with pedestrian priority into the National Park. And that'll be fairly disruptive for the Mission Road, and hopefully will be another discouraging factor for vehicular traffic to head into the town centre. In terms of our strategic outcomes, we hope to integrate the town with the park, move people towards walking and cycling, both the resident population and tourists alike, create an alternative visitor experience, particularly that nighttime economy, that evening economy, and make Killarney a vibrant and attractive town with an improved sense of place and enhanced livability. Our inspiration for this goes back to 2018, to the National Planning Framework and the subsequent regional, spatial and economic strategy, and the national move towards sustainable mobility and enhanced amenity and heritage. We did amend our own planning policy framework locally in 2018 with a variation to the Killarney Town Development Plan, informed by those two strategies. And our Kerry Tourism Strategy and Action Plan was adopted in 2016, and that was adopted with significant input from the tourism sector. I suppose what I'm trying to outline here is that all of these strategies and plans locally are aligned to the national thinking, but they've also been through a significant stakeholder engagement process, and we've collective buy-in from all of the businesses in Killarney, from our local elected members, the resident population, and crucially the tourism sector. And all this wouldn't happen without the Urban Regeneration and Development Fund and the support of the Department of Housing, Planning and Local Government. Is one thing in my seat as a senior planner, trying to convince the wider community the need to improve public realm, remove the car, move to sustainable modes of transport. It's a very empowering position to try and undertake that strategy or try and implement that strategy or convince the greater good of the need for that strategy when there's actually funding in place to achieve the vision and achieve the strategy. Thank you very much.